Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a series that truly bears no introduction. Since its initial release in August of 2014, FNAF skyrocketed into the public consciousness and truly stood out among the horror games of its time. FNAF is commonly attributed with being the first instance of what would come to be known as mascot horror. And of course, one of the main features of the game that helped boost it in popularity was the monsters of the game itself, the animatronics. These animatronics weren't realistic in the slightest. They had exposed endoskeletons, separated joints, and they took the appearance of what animatronics commonly looked like in cartoons that mocked actual animatronic entertainment establishments for having characters that are often not taken care of too well, or that are seen as uncanny and creepy. This is one of the main features that helped these animatronics, and henceforth the game itself, to become as popular as they did. These designs, alongside the environment they're put into, invoke nostalgia. They have fairly simple designs, but they're incredibly recognizable and, under the right context, horrifying. And I give them credit for that. However, as the series has gone by, these animatronics have gotten more futuristic and less realistic, even since the second installment of the game. I mean, we've gotten facial recognition systems connected to a sex offender database in the 1980s, animatronics designed with inner stomach mechanisms that can offer children countless ways to die, animatronics with AI so sophisticated that they're essentially human, and so on and so on. My problem with FNAF's designs, especially the more recent ones, is that they don't fit with what FNAF's original premise was, and what made the game work for a lot of people. This game took the nostalgia of visiting family entertainment venues and twisted it just perfectly enough. Everything from the environment to the atmosphere and of course the designs worked in favor of this concept. Of course, these original designs and the original game aren't without its flaws. Another problem is that these characters have no real theming around them aside from arguably Foxy. The designs are bland, and this restaurant would crumble into the ground compared to its real-life competitors. This Barnyard Bash needs outfits simple enough to not be overcomplicated, but clear enough for the consumers to understand what they do and what their personality is like. I want to rework the designs of the first game into something a little more accurate to the time period. I want these designs to accentuate what made the original characters work, and add a little bit of that 90s nostalgic look in there, I guess, by making the designs look as if they could fit in with a Munch's Make-Believe Band or a Rock-afire Explosion. Let's start talking about animatronics, starting with the underrated bear himself. Freddy Fazbear is the main character of the band. He's the namesake of the pizzeria, after all. Everyone knows about Freddy Fazbear, but does everybody know who Freddy Fazbear is? How he acts? Well, in the cartoon Steel Wool released before the release date of Security Breach was revealed, alongside Help Wanted's Scrap Showtime song, Freddy is shown to be an enthusiastic, laid-back, and happy-go-lucky character, and he is extroverted to a fault, giving second chances even to the most mischievous and conniving of people, or in this case, foxes, allowing Foxy to join the band despite him chasing them away and scaring them multiple times throughout Freddy and Friends on tour. In the game of FNAF 1 itself, Freddy was set up to be like the final boss of the game, and then he lost relevancy until the release of Security Breach, where he became the main lead again. In Security Breach, Freddy seems to be very knowledgeable about everything within the Pizzaplex, and he still keeps his personality from the 80s and 90s, being very trusting and kind, believing in his friends even when they're trying to actively kill a 12-year-old. So, Freddy should look neat and presentable while still having his general iconic silhouette and a fun pattern on his outfit to reflect his personality. And here he is. I imagine the FNAF 1 animatronics to be Cyberamics. I think they can keep the general look of the FNAF 1 gang while still being unique. Freddy's outfit is based on Tuxedo Chuck, and his color palette is reminiscent of Pizza Time Theater's Charles Entertainment Cheese. I actually took a lot of inspiration from this image I saw of a 90s Chuck Cyberamic with the Tux cosmetics. I really like the look of it. I added this little pizza pattern to Freddy's tuxedo just to make his design pop out a little more, and to really emphasize his more playful and open nature. I like to imagine he'd sound like John Goodman. That's my headcanon. Who's ready for Freddy? Bonnie the Bunny was the first character modeled by Scott Cawthon, and also the most bland design out of the main four. Freddy is the namesake of the game, and he has an iconic silhouette, Chica has her sidekick Mr. Cupcake, and Foxy is a pirate for crying out loud. Compared to everyone else, Bonnie's a bit boring. Without his guitar, there's not much to tell us who he is. However, his appearance in the Freddy and Friends cartoon tells us a bit about him. Bonnie seems to be the most calm out of everyone. He is laid back, always chill, and doesn't really seem to care about whatever's going on. A lot of people see him as a bit of a stoner, and I can sort of agree. I personally think Bonnie and Shaggy would be great friends. Even in Ultimate Custom Night, a game that is literally about tormenting the murderous William Afton inside of his own head, Bonnie is laid back and even cracks a couple jokes about his withered state. So, Bonnie appears to be the cool dude of the gang, being relatively calm, cool, and collected at all times. And here he is. I decided to lean more into that rock star look. I gave him dark shades, a bandana, and a leather jacket to really accentuate the cool rock star look. I could definitely imagine him having a surfer dude voice, similar to how Michelangelo sounds in the 2003 version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Awesome! Let's throw in something light on story and heavy on gory.
To be honest, I have a lot less to say about Bonnie than I thought I would, considering he's a part of the main cast. However, I hope I was able to make him look good and characterize him better nonetheless. I got help with this section of the video from the #1 fan of Chica, my friend and Oomph. Chica the Chicken is the only female character among the main four, as she herself states in the scrapped Showtime song from FNAF VR. Her role in the band is a backup singer, but everyone knows her iconic Let's Eat bib and her adorable little sidekick, Mr. Cupcake. The Showtime song shows us that she is very obsessed with food, willing to tear apart anything standing between her and that single old moldy slice of pizza. She's bubbly, cheerful, and happy to meet new people, and she seems to share some personality traits with Freddy. Future iterations of the character seem to follow these same character tropes, especially Glamrock Chica. She's still a foodie, she's still cheerful and bubbly, and she still loves pizza. And here she is. When making her, I really struggled with coming up with a good concept for her. I swear, I see way too many people give Chica the same baker or chef look, and it's not bad whatsoever, but it gets a little repetitive. I wanted her to be a bit more tailored to the younger members of the audience while still keeping her food motif, since it's the most recognizable part of her character. And then, suddenly, an idea clicked. What if Chica was a Girl Scout? She's able to connect with a younger audience, since many girls in the audience could have been Girl Scouts at that time, while keeping her overall food motif. Mr. Cupcake also makes a little more sense with a Girl Scout who serves sweets than a chef more worried about cooking the pizza served to the customers. Hey, editing Jace here. Mr. Cupcake is based off of, like, the 90s mascots. I think their name was, like, the Happy Meal Gang or something. I just wanted to point that out because I didn't in the script, so whoopsie. I imagine she sounded like Kathy Turner's Helen Henny. I just realized that neither her or Foxy's art have, like, the little white glow around the character, so, whoops. The delivery of that line was so awkward. Alright, now it's time for our last member of the Fazbear band. Foxy the Pirate Fox is the most detailed when it comes to their role in the band. He's a pirate fox with an eye patch, a hook, and sometimes he wears a blue pirate coat and a hat. He's one of the only two members of the first game that has gotten an official redesign, the other being Golden Freddy's redesign in the movie. Sometimes wearing his pirate hat and blue coat, and in his most recent appearance in Five Nights at Freddy's, he has several earrings and a purple bandana around his neck. Foxy appears to be the most aggressive and mischievous of the gang, rushing to your door if you don't look at him enough, almost like he's waiting for the right moment to burst in and startle you, in an almost gotcha sort of moment. He appears to be the last member added into the band too, if we're to believe Freddy and Friends on tour. Now, this next part may be me reading way too far into things, but to me it appears that Foxy might have been the most popular character in the Fazbear band. I mean, like, in FNAF 2. The character of Toy Foxy legit gets ripped and torn apart limb for limb by the little kids who are a fan of him in Kids Cove. At least according to Ralph, the phone guy. So it's entirely possible that when Foxy went out of order, for whatever reason, the restaurant lost relevancy in the public eye and eventually Freddy's was just left to rot. Even if it's not necessarily the most canon interpretation, it's still a really neat interpretation in my opinion. Here's my retake on the Pirate Fox himself. I didn't really change a lot from the original design. I gave him a headband, a bandana around his neck, a large belt around his chest, and he keeps his iconic eye patch and hook. I put him in a barrel because, well, I don't know, it seemed kind of piratey. Also, I thought it would be equally funny and creepy to see either Foxy crawling on the floor or barreling down to your office on the cameras. I think his voice would sound relatively the same as in Custom Night and AR, with a bit more of a lean towards the voice of Captain Barbosa. I hope I pronounced that right. And that should be everyone for today. If there's any more FNAF characters you'd be interested in seeing me redesign in the future, leave suggestions in the comments below. And if this video gets enough support, I might make a FNAF 2 redesigns video. Now, that should be everyone. I don't really think I'm forgetting anyone. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, I don't know, all that YouTuber stuff. And, I'll see you guys whenever I upload next. Bye-bye!